beholding that vast assembly of kings agitated with wrath, even like the terrific sea agitated by the winds that blow at the times of the universal dissolution. Yudhishthira, addressing the aged Bhishma, that chief of intelligent men and the grandsire of the Kurus, even like Purohita, that slayer of foes of abundant energy, addressing Brihaspati, said, "This vast ocean of kings have been agitated by wrath. Tell me, grandsire, what I shall do in view of this. Now what I shall do that my sacrifice may not be obstructed and my subjects may not be injured." When King Yudhishthira, the just, conversant with morality, said this, Bhishma, the grandsire of the Kurus, spoke these words in reply: "Fear not, tiger of the Kurus. Can the dog slay the lion? I have before this found out a way that is both beneficial and comfortably to practice. As dogs in a pack approaching the lion that is asleep bark together, so are all these laws of earth. Indeed, like dogs before the lion, these are barking in rage before the sleeping lion of the Vrishni haze. Achyuta now is like a lion that is asleep, until he waketh up, this chief of the heads. This lion among men maketh these monarchs look like lions. Thou foremost of all monarchs, this Sisupala, possessed of little intelligence, is desirous of taking along with him all these kings, through the agents of him who is the soul of the universe, to the regions of Yama. Assuredly, Vishnu have been desirous of taking back unto himself the energy that existeth in this Sisupala. The intelligence of this wicked-minded king of the heads, as also of these monarchs, have become perverse. Indeed, the intelligence of all those whom this tiger among men desireth to take unto himself becometh perverse, even like that of this king of the heads. Madhava is the progenitor, as also the destroyer of all created beings, of the four species, existing in the three worlds. Then the ruler of heads, having heard these words of Bhishma, addressed the later, in words that were still in vogue. Sisupala said, "Old and infamous wretch of thy race, art thou not ashamed of afflicting all these monarchs with these numerous false terrors? Thou art the foremost of the Kurus, and living as thou dost in the third state, it is fit for thee that thou shouldst give such counsel that is so weed of morality. Like a boat tied to another boat, or the blind following the blind, are the Kurus who have thee for their guide. Thou hast once more simply pained our hearts by reciting particularly the deeds of this own, such as the slaying of Putana and others. Arrogant and ignorant as thou art, and desirous of praising Kesava, why doth not this dog of thine split up into 100 parts? How dost thou, superior as thou art in knowledge, desire to praise that cowboy in respect of whom even men of little intelligence may address invectives? If Krishna in his infance slew a vulture, what is there remarkable in that, or in that other feat of his? In his slaughter of Asva and Vrisava, both of whom were unskilled in battle, if this on true drowned by a kick an inanimate piece of wood, a car, what is there wonderful in that? What is there remarkably in this own having supported for a week the Govardhan mount, which is like an ant-hill? While sporting on the top of a mountain, this own ate a large quantity of food. Hearing these words of thine may have wondered exceedingly. Thou who art conversant with the rules of morality, is not this still more wrongful that? that great person, Kansa, whose food these own ate, have been slain by him, the infamous one of the Kuru race. Thou art ignorant of the rules of morality. Hast thou not ever heard from wise men speaking unto thee what I would now tell thee? The virtuous and the wise always instruct the honest, that weapons must never be made to descend upon woman and kind and Brahmanas, and upon those whose food have been taken, as also upon those whose shelter have been enjoyed. It seemeth that all these teachings have been thrown away by thee. Infamous one of the Kuru race, desiring to praise Kesava, thou describest him before me as great and superior in knowledge and in age, as if I knew nothing. If at thy word, on that hath slain woman and kind be worshipped, then what is to become of this great lesson? How can one who is such deserve praise? This one is the foremost of all wise men. This one is the Lord of the universe. Hearing these words of thine, Janardana believeth that these are all true, but surely they are all false. The verses that Ashanta sings, even if he sings them often, produce no impression on him. And every creature acts according to his disposition, even like the bird Bihulinga. Assuredly thy disposition is very mean. There is not the least doubt about it. And so also it seemeth that the sons of Pandu, who regard Krishna as deserving of worship, and who have thee for their guide, are possessed of a sinful disposition. Possessing a knowledge of virtue, thou hast fallen off from the path of the wise. Therefore thou art sinful. Who, knowing himself to be virtuous and superior in knowledge, will so act as thou hast done from motives of virtue. If thou knowest the ways of the morality, if thy mind is guided by wisdom, blessed be thou. Why then was that virtuous girl, Amva, who had set her heart upon another, carried off by thee, so proud of wisdom and virtue? Thy brother Vikhitraviriya, conformably to the ways of the honest and the virtuous, knowing that girl condition, did not meet her talk brought by thee, boasting as thou dost of virtue, in thy very sight, upon the widow of thy brother, were sons begotten by another according to the ways of the honest. Where is thy virtue? This thy celibacy, which thou leadest, either from ignorance or from impotence, is fruitless. Thou who art conversant with virtue, I do not behold thy well-being. Thou who expoundest morality in this way dost not seem to have ever waited upon the oath, worshipped, gift, stood, sacrifice, distinguished by large gifts to the Brahmanas. These are equal not in merit, even 1/16th part of that which is obtainable by the possession of a son. The merit that is acquired by numberless vows and fasts assuredly becomes fruitless in the case of one that is shieldless. Thou art shieldless and old, and the expounder of false morality, like the swan in the history. Thou shalt now die at the hands of thy relatives. Other men possessed of knowledge have said this of old. I will presently recite it full in thy hearing. There lived of yore an old swan on the sea coast, ever speaking of morality, but otherwise in his conduct. He used to instruct the feathery tribe, practice ye virtue and forego sin. These were the words that other truthful birds constantly heard him utter. And the other oviparous creatures hanging the sea, it hath been heard by us, used for virtue's sake to bring him food. And all those other birds, keeping their eggs with him, hanged and dived in the waters of the sea, and the sinful old swan, attentive to his own pursuits, used to eat up the eggs of all those birds that foolishly trusted in him. After a while, when the eggs were decreasing in number, a bird of great wisdom had his suspicions roused, and he even witnessed one day. And having witnessed the sinful act of the old swan, that bird in great sorrow spoke unto all the other birds. Then all those birds, witnessing with their own eyes the act of the old swan, approached that wretched of false conduct and slew him. Thy behavior is even like that of the old swan. This Lord of earth might slay thee in anger, like those creatures of the feathery tribe slaying the old swan. Persons conversant with the Puranas recite a proverb as regards this occurrence. I shall repeat it to thee fully. It is even this: thou that supportest thyself on thy wings, though thy heart is affected, thou preachest yet. But this thy sinful act of eating up the eggs transgresseth thy speech. Sisupala said that my king Jarasandha, who desired not to fight with Krishna, saying he is a slave, was worthy of my great esteem. Who will regard as praiseworthy the act which was done by Kesava, as also by Bhishma and Arjuna in the matter of Jarasandha's death, entering by an improper gate, disguised as a Brahmana. This Krishna observed the strength of King Jarasandha, and when that monarch offered at first unto this wretch Vada to wash his feet, it was then that he denied his Brahmanahood from seeing motives of virtue. And when Jarasandha asked Krishna and Bhishma and Dhananjaya to eat, it was this Krishna that refused that monarch's request. If this one is the Lord of the universe, as this fool representeth him to be, why doth he not regard himself as a Brahmana? This, however, surpriseth me greatly, that though thou leadest the Pandavas away from the path of the wise, they yet regard thee as honest. Or perhaps this is scarcely a matter of surprise in respect of those that have thee, womanish in disposition and bent down with age, for their counselor in everything. Hearing these words of Sisupala, harsh both in port and sound, that foremost of mighty men, Bhishmasena, endowed with energy, became angry, and his eyes, naturally large and expanding and like unto lotus leaves, became still more extended and red as copper under the influence of that rage. And the assembled monarchs beheld on his forehead 3 lines of wrinkles like the Ganga of trembling currents on the trembling peak mountain. When Bhishmasena began to grind his teeth in rage, the monarchs beheld his face resembling that of Death himself at the end of the Yuga, prepared to swallow every creature. And the hero, endowed with great energy of mind, was about to leap up impetuously. The might-armed Bhishma caught him like Mahadeva seizing Mahasena, and Bhishma's wrath was soon appeased by Bhishma, the grandsire of the Kurus, with various kinds of counsel. And Bhishma, the chastiser of foes, could not disobey Bhishma's words, like the ocean that never transgresseth its continents. Even though Bhishma was angry, the brave Sisupala, depending on his own manhood, did not tremble in fear. And though Bhishma was leaping up impetuously every moment, Sisupala bestowed not a single thought on him, like a lion that hacks not a little animal in rage. The powerful king of Khedi, beholding Bhima of terrible prowess in such haste, longingly said, "Release him, let other monarchs behold him, scorched by my prowess, like an insect in fire." Hearing these words of the ruler of the Khedis, Bhishma, that foremost of the Kurus and chief of all intelligent men, spoke unto Bhishma these words. Bhishma said, "This Sisupala was born in the line of the king of Khedi, with 3 eyes and 4 hands. As soon as he was born, he screamed and brayed like an ass. On that account, his father and mother, along with their relatives, were struck with fear, and beholding these extraordinary omens, his parents resolved to abandon him." An incorporeal voice about this time said unto the king and his wife with their ministers and priests, all with hearts paralyzed by anxiety, those words, "This thy son that hath been born will become both fortunate and superior in strength. Therefore thou hast no fear from him. Indeed, cherish the child without anxiety. He will not die. His time is not yet come. He that will slay him with weapons hath been born." Hearing these words, the mother, rendered anxious by affection for her son, addressed the invisible being, and said, "I bow with joined hands unto him that hath uttered these words respecting my son, whether he be an exalted divinity or any other being. Let him tell me another word. I desire to hear who will be the slayer of this my son." The invisible being then said, "He upon whose lap this child being placed, the superfluous arms of his will fall down upon the ground like a pair of 5-headed snakes, and at the sight of whom his 3rd eye on the forehead will disappear, will be his slayer." Hearing of the child 3 eyes and 4 arms, as also of the words of the invisible being, all the kings of the earth went to Khedi to behold him. The king of Khedi, worshipping as each deserved, the monarchs that came gave his child upon their laps, one after another. In Tog, the child was placed upon the laps of 1,000 kings, one after another, yet that which the incorporeal voice had said came not to pass. And having heard of all these at Dvaravati, the mighty Yadava heroes Sankarsana and Janardana went to the capital of the Kheds to see their father's sister, that daughter of the Yadava, and saluting everybody according to his rank, and the king and queen, and echoing after everybody welfare, both Hama and Kesava took their seats. And after those heroes had been worshipped, the queen with great pleasure herself placed the child on the lap of Damodara. As soon as the child was placed on his lap, the superfluous arms of his fell down, and the eye on his forehead disappeared. And beholding this, the queen, in alarm and anxiety, begged of Krishna a boon, and she said, "Might Ahmed Krishna, I am afflicted with fear. Grant me a boon. Thou art the asura of all afflicted ones, and that the dispeller of everybody's fear." Thus addressed by her, Krishna, that son of the Yadu race, said, "Fear not, respected one, thou art acquainted with morality, thou needst have no fear from me. What boon shall I give thee? What shall I do? Aunt, whether ably or not, I shall do thy bidding." Thus spoken to by Krishna, the king said, "Thou of great strength, thou wilt have to pardon the offense of Sisupala for my sake. No, even this is the boon that I ask. Krishna then said, "And even when he will deserve to be slain, I will pardon 100 offenses of his, grieve thou not." Even thus, in this wretch of a King Sisupala, of wicked heart, who proud of the one granted by Govinda, summons thee to battle. Bhishma said, "The will and the wish the ruler of Khedi summoneth thee to fight. Talk, thou art of strength that knoweth no deterioration, is scarcely his own intention. Assuredly, this is the purpose of Krishna himself, the Lord of the universe. What king is there on earth that won't dare abuse me thus, as this wretch of his haste, already possessed by death, hath done today? This might armed on is without doubt a portion of Hari energy, and surely the Lord desireth to take back unto himself that energy of his own. In consequence of this tiger-like king of Khedi, so wicked of heart, hovereth in such a way, caring little for us all." Hearing these words of Bhishma, the king of Khedi could bear no more. He then replied in haste unto Bhishma in these words, "Let our foes be endowed with that prowess which this Kesava hath, whom thou like a professional chanter of hymns praisest, rising repeatedly from thy seat. If thy mind delighteth so in praising others, then praise thou these kings, living of Krishna. Praise thou this excellent of kings, Darada, the ruler of Valhika, who rent this earth as soon as he was born. Praise thou this Karna, the ruler of the territories of Anga and Vanga, who is equal in strength unto him of 1,000 eyes, who draweth a large bow, who endowed with might arms, owneth celestial earrings of heavenly make, with which he was born, and this coat of mail, possessing the splendor of the rising sun, who vanquished in a wrestling encounter the invincible Jarasandha, equal unto Vasava himself, and who tore and mangled that monarch. Praise Drona and Asvatihaman, who both father and son are mighty warriors, worthy of praise, and the best of Brahmanas, and either of whom, if enraged, could annihilate this earth with its mobile and immobile creatures, as I believe. I do not behold the king that is equal in battle unto Drona or Asvatihaman. Why wishest thou not to praise them, passing over Duryodhana, that might-armed king of kings, who is unequalled in whole earth, girt with her seas? And King Jayadratha, accomplished in weapons and endowed with great prowess, and Droma, the preceptor of the King Purusas, and celebrated over the world for prowess, and Saradivata son, Kripa, the preceptor of the Bharata prince, and endowed with great energy. Why dost thou praise Kesava, passing over that foremost of bowmen, that excellent of kings, who came in of great energy? Why praise thou Kesava, passing over with his Maka of abundant energy, and King Dantavakra and Bihagadatta, known for his immeasurably sacrificial stakes, and Jayachisena, the king of the Magadha, and Virata, and Drupada, and Sakuni, and Vrihadivala, and Vinda, and Anuvinda, and Avant, and Pandya, and Siveta, and Uttama, and Sankhya of great prosperity, the proud Vridhasena, the powerful Ekalavya, and the great charioteer Kalinga of abundant energy. Why dost thou praise Kesava? And If thy mind is always inclined to sing the praises of others, why dost thou not praise Salia and other rulers of the earth? What can be done by me when thou hast not heard anything before from virtuous old men giving lessons in morality? Hast thou never heard that reproach and glorification both of self and others are not practices of those that are respectable? There is no one that approveth thy conduct, in unceasingly praising with devotion, from ignorance alone, Kesava, so unworthy of praise. How dost thou from thy wish alone establish the whole universe in the servitor and cohort of Beholder? Perhaps this thy inclination is not conformably to thy true nature, like to what may be seen the bird Bihulinga, as hath already been said by me. There is a bird called Bihulinga living on the other side of the Himawat. That bird ever uttereth words of adverse import, never do anything rash. This is what she always saith, but never understandeth that she herself always acteth very harshly. Possessed of little intelligence, that bird picketh from the lion's mouth the pieces of flesh sticking between the teeth, and at a time when the lion is employed in eating, assuredly that bird liveth at the pleasure of the lion. Sinful wretch, thou always speakest like that bird, and assuredly thou art alive at the pleasure on of these kings, employed in acts contrary to the opinions of all. There is none else like thee. Hearing these harsh words of the ruler of Khaj, Bhisma said in the hearing of the king of Khaj, Truly I am alive at the pleasure of these rulers of earth. I do regard these kings as not equal to even a straw. As soon as these words were spoken by Bhisma, the kings became inflamed with wrath, and the brow of some among them stood erect, and some began to reprove Bhisma. And hearing those words of Bhisma, some among them that were wielders of large bows exclaimed, This wretched Bhisma, talk old, is exceedingly boastful. He deserveth not our pardon. Therefore, ye kings, incensed with rage as this Bhisma is, it is well that this wretch were slain like an animal, or mustering together. Let us burn him in a fire of grass or straw. Hearing these words of the monarchs, Bhisma, the grandsire of the Kurus, and with great intelligence, addressing those laws of earth, said, I do not see the end of our species, for words may be answered with words. Therefore, ye laws of earth, listen ye are unto what I say, whether I being slain like an animal, or burnt in a fire of grass and straw. Thus do I distinctly place my foot on the heads of ye all. Here is Govinda, that knoweth no deterioration. Him have we worshipped. Let him who wisheth for speed death summon to battle Madhava of dark hue, and the wielder of the discus and the mace, and falling enter into the mingled with the body of this god. Hearing these words of Bhisma, the ruler of Khaj, and with exceeding prowess, desirous of combating with Vasudeva, addressed him and said, I challenge thee, come, fight with me until I slay thee today with all the Pandavas, for the sons of Pandu, who, disregarding the claims of all these kings, have worshipped thee who art no king, deserve to be slain by me along with thee. Even this is my opinion. that they who from childishness have worshipped thee, as if thou deservest it, although thou art unworthy of worship, being on a slave and a wretch, and no king deserve to be enslaved by me. Having said this, the tide among kings stood there roaring in anger, and after Sisupala had ceased, Krishna, addressing all the kings in the presence of the Pandavas, spoke these words in a soft voice. Ye kings, this wicked-minded one, who is the son of a doctor of the Satyavata race, is a great enemy of us of the Satyavata race. And though we never seek to injure him, he ever seeketh our evil. This wretched of cruel deeds, ye kings, hearing that we had gone to the seat of Pragyotisha, came and burnt the Varaka, although he is the son of my father's sister, while King Bihoja was sporting on the Haivataka hill. This one fell upon the attendants of that king, and slew and led away many of them in chains to his own city. Sinful in all his purpose, this wretch, in order to obstruct the sacrifice of my father, stole the sacrificial horse of the horse sacrifice that had been let loose under the guard of armed men, prompted by sinful motives. This one ravished the reluctant wife of the innocent Vabihu on her way from the Varaka to the country of the Sauviras. This injurer of his maternal uncle, disguising himself in the attire of the king of Karusha, ravished the innocent Bihadra, the prince of Visala, the intended breed of King Karusha. I have patiently borne out these sorrows for the sake of my father's sister. It is, however, very fortunate that all this have occurred today in the presence of all the kings. Behold ye all today the hostility this one beareth towards me, and know ye all that he hath done me at my back. For the excess of that pride in which he hath indulged in the presence of all these monarchs, he deserveth to be slain by me. I am ill able to pardon today the injuries that he hath done me. Desirous of speed death, this fool had desired Hukimini. The fool obtained her not, like a Sudra failing to obtain the audition of the Vedas. Hearing these words of Vasudeva, all the assembled monarchs began to reprove the ruler of Khej. The powerful Sisupala, having heard these words, laughed aloud and spoke thus: Art thou not ashamed in saying in this assembly, especially before all these kings, that Hukimini had been coveted by me? Who else is there than thee, who regarding himself a man, won't say in the midst of respectable men that his wife had been intended for somebody else? Pardon me if thou pleasest, or pardon me not, but angry or friendly, what canst thou do unto me? And while Sisupala was speaking thus, the exalted slave of Madhu talked in his mind of the discourse that humbleth the pride of the Asuras, and as soon as the discourse came into his hands, skilled in speech, the illustrious one loudly uttered these words: Listen ye, laws of earth, why this one had hitherto been pardoned by me, as asked by his mother, 100 orphans were to be pardoned by me. Even this was the boon she had asked, and even this I granted her. That number, ye kings, have become full. I shall now slay him in your presence. Ye monarchs, having said this, the chief of the Yadus, that slew of our foes in anger, instantly cut off the head of the ruler of Khej by means of his discus. The might armed on fell down like a cliff struck with thunder, and the assembled kings then beheld a fierce energy like unto the sun in the sky ensue out of the body of the king of head. And that energy then adored Krishna, possessed of eyes like lotus leaves, and worshipped by all the worlds, and entered his body. And all the kings, beholding the energy which entered that might-armed chief of men, regarded it as wonderful. And when Krishna had slain the king of head, the sky tore cloudless, poured showers of rain, and blasting thunders were hurled, and the earth itself began to tremble. There were some among the kings who spoke not a word during those unspeakable moments, but merely sat gazing at Janardana. And some there were that rubbed in rage their palms with their forefingers, and there were others who, deprived of reason by rage, beat their lips with their teeth. And some amongst the kings applauded him of the Christian race in private, and some there were that became excited with anger, while others became mediators. The great rishi, with pleased heart, praised Kesava, and went away, and all the high-souled Brahmanas and the mighty kings that were there, beholding Krishna prowess, became glad at heart and praised him. Yudhishthira then commanded by his brothers to perform without delay the funeral rites of King Sisupala, the brave son of Damagihosha, with proper respect. The sons of Pandu obeyed the behest of their brother, and Yudhishthira then, with all the kings, installed the son of King Sisupala in the sovereignty of the heads. Then that sacrifice of the king of the Kurus, possessed of great energy, blessed with every kind of prosperity, became exceedingly handsome and pleasing unto all young men, and commenced auspiciously, and all impediments removed, and furnished with abundance of wealth and corn, as also with plenty of rice and every kind of food. It was properly watched by Kesava, and Yudhishthira in due time completed the great sacrifice, and the might-armed Janardana, the exalted Sauri, with his bow called Saranga, and his discus and mace, guarded that sacrifice till its completion. And all the Kshatriyas, monarchs, having approached the virtuous Yudhishthira, who had bathed after the conclusion of the sacrifice, said these words: By good fortune thou hast come out successful, thou hast obtained the imperial dignity. By thee hath been spread the fame of thy unholy race. By this act of thine thou hast also acquired great religion's merit. We have been worshipped by thee to full extent of our desires. We now tell thee that we are desirous of returning to our own kingdoms. It behoveth thee to grant us permission. Hearing these words of the monarchs, King Yudhishthira the just, worshipping each as he deserved, commanded his brothers, saying, These monarchs had all come to us at their own pleasure. These chastisers of foes are now desirous of returning to their own kingdoms, bidding me farewell. Blessed be ye, follow ye, these excellent kings to the confines of our own dominions. Hearing these words of their brother, the virtuous Pandava prince followed the kings, one after another, as each deserved. The powerful Dhristadyumna followed without loss of time King Virata, and Dhananjaya followed the illustrious and mighty Sharyota Yajnasena, and the mighty Bhishmasena followed Bhishma, and Dhritarashtra, and Sahadeva, that master of battle, followed the brave Drona and his son, and Nakula followed Suvala with his son, and the sons of Draupadi with the son of Subhadra followed those mighty warriors, the kings of the mountainous countries. And other bulls among Kshatriyas followed other Kshatriyas, and the Brahmanas by thousands went away dual worshipped. After all the kings and the Brahmanas had gone away, the powerful Vasudeva, addressing Yudhishthira, said, "With thy leave, I desire to go to the Varaka. By great good fortune, thou hast accomplished the foremost of sacrifice, Rajasuya." Thus addressed by Janardana, Yudhishthira replied, "Owing to thy grace, I have accomplished the great sacrifice, and it is owing to thy grace that the whole Kshatriya world, having accepted my sway, had come hither with valuable tribute. Without thee my heart never felleth in delight. How can I give thee leave to go? Thou must have to go to the seat of the Varaka." The virtuous Hari of worldwide fame, thus addressed by Yudhishthira, cheerful went with his cousin to Pritha, and said, "Thy sons have now obtained the imperial dignity. They have obtained vast wealth and been crowned with success. Be pleased with all these, commanded by thee. I desire to go to the Varaka." After this, Kesava bade farewell to Draupadi and Subhadra. Coming out then of the inner apartments, accompanied by Yudhishthira, he performed his ablutions, and went through the daily rites of worship, and then made the Brahmanas utter benedictions. Then the might-armed Daruka came there with a car of excellent design, in body resembling the clowns. And beholding that Garuda-bannered car arrived thither, the high-souled one, with eyes like lotus leaves, walked round it respectful, and ascending on it, set out for the Varavati. And King Yudhishthira, the just, blessed with prosperity, accompanied by his brothers, followed on foot the mighty Vasudeva. Then Hari, with eyes like lotus leaves, stopping at the best of cars for a moment, addressing Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, said, "Cherishest thou thy subjects with ceaseless vigilance and patience, and as the clouds are unto all creatures, as the last tree of spreading bulk is unto birds, as he of 1,000 eyes is unto the mortals, be thou the refuge and support of thy relatives." And Krishna and Yudhishthira, having thus talked unto each other, took each other leave, and returned to their respective homes. And after the chief of the Satyavata race had gone to the Varavati, King Duryodhana alone, with King Suvala's son, Sakuni, these bulls among men, continued to live in that celestial assembly house.